So, hey folks, today I wanted to share with you an easy, inexpensive method for being able to store your filament and keep it dry. But before I do, if you want to get better quality prints, then hit that subscribe button. For years, I used to keep my filament stored in the original bag that it came in with the desiccant that it came with. And I was running it on a Kitty Tech 3D printer, and I never had any issues of the filament being humid. Recently, I had an issue come up that made me think I might have humidity in my filament. As it turned out, I did not, but I'd gotten into a bad habit of not storing my reels in the bags with the desiccant that it came with. At one point, when I didn't know if I had an issue with the humidity of my filament, I went and I bought myself one of those dryers. But I found it to be noisy. I don't have a lot of space here to work with. It's bulky, it takes up space. It was also a long process to drying the filament. And then lastly, it ended up creating jams because the filament didn't come out at an angle that would work for my printers. I tried another method that I found on the internet where you place the reel of filament onto your bed and you heat the bed, and then you put a cardboard box over the top of it that has holes that allows it to breathe and allow the moisture to come out. However, I didn't find it very effective. The reel had a label on it that ended up heating up and causing unpleasant odor in the room. The other thing is you can't gauge when is it done? So I dropped that idea. For everything that I'm about to share with you now, there's Amazon links in the description below that if you want to do what it is that I'm doing. So typically, if the quality of the bag that the filament came in is good enough, then I'm going to go back to the good practice of take the reel out, load it up onto the printer, make my print. When the print is done, take the reel and put it back into the bag. And that worked for years for me. Although some of the manufacturers don't give you that great a quality of bag. So what I would end up doing for some of my reels is I would just take a large Ziploc bag. It's a freezer baggie with a resealable top on it. And I would take that original desiccant and I would drop it into the bag. And then I would put my reel of filament back into the bag. And this works great. It's actually a lot more flexible than the bag that it originally came in. So I really like this. It's simple. You get a box. It's like $11. You get 60 of these on Amazon. And that's Canadian, by the way. So I had a few reels of filament that had been out for a while, and I had no idea how dry they were or not. So I bought these desiccant pouches, and you get two for $17. When they're brand new, the silica is orange. Once it has absorbed humidity, the silica will turn black. You can reset this by putting it into the oven at 250 degrees Fahrenheit for 3 hours. They'll turn orange, it'll dry them out, and then because of the reels that I didn't know the status of them, I took this and I dropped it into the bag with the reels that have been out for an extended period of time. So the next thing that I did was I bought these temperature humidity gauges. I bought a pack of 5 for $17 off Amazon, and you can see it's having a huge reaction to the humidity in my hand. This room in the wintertime is typically between 30 to 35% humidity in the wintertime. And in the summertime, the highest I've ever seen it is like 45%. So what's a good reading? I asked ChatGPT, what is the maximum humidity level that would be acceptable for filament? And basically, ChatGPT came back and told me that ABS, PETG, TPU, and PLA, you need to be less than 50% humidity. It's only nylon that needs to be 20 to 30% humidity. So I'm able to monitor my reels of filament simply by dropping this temperature humidity gauge into the bag with the filament. I can close it up and I can see what's going on with my filament. Interestingly enough, I had one reel of filament that I put in the bag, 35% humidity in the room, and it was within a couple of hours that it was 10% inside of that bag. Versus another reel of filament that I had, it took about 2 to 3 days for it to drop from 35% down to 15%, and then another day for it to drop from 15 to 10% in the bag. So a very simple process of putting your reel into the bag, and then you can put these wherever you want. I like to keep them out readily available to go sitting on the shelf. But I try to do this into a large Tupperware bin, but I got to tell you, it's a big volume inside of that bin, so it takes a really long time for this desiccant to be able to absorb the moisture in that bin. And that's why I've gone back to this method of storing them in a plastic bag. And honestly, I love these Ziploc bags better than the original bag. It comes with a double seal on it. The reel that I have sitting here on the printer, when I opened it up and I put it into a bag and I put one of the temperature humidity gauges into that bag, 24 hours later, it was still 35% inside of that bag. So it made me wonder what's going on there. Is the quality of the bag as good as these Ziploc bags? So thanks for watching. I hope it helped. If you have any questions or concerns, please don't be shy. Leave them in the comments, and the links to every item that I mentioned is in the comments. Happy printing.